Hard to believe all this began with about 4 people in Matt Pitt's basement a few years ago.
What has all these rushing the church doors? Church like you've never seen before.
Now developed into an extremely popular Christian worship experience for
hundreds, even thousands of people. Has grown from 1,400 to about 5,000 in 5 months' time.
It continues to grow.
4,000 to 5,000. It started out with just a handful of folks. Now thousands attend the service.
Matt's basement went from this to this. It's outgrown Matt's house, a series of other churches, and it's packed by the thousands.
We're trying to show them, man, that God's real, He's alive, and we can do things through Him, and we do it in a radical way.
This is not your typical worship experience.
the hottest party in town.
With a powerful message.
Really unbelievable. It's something you have to see to believe. It's now considered the largest youth movement in the nation.
Wow, this is beautiful tonight. We appreciate you being here. We didn't expect it to be quite like this, so we were really fired up. You showed up. We had to take it the basement. If it's your first night, if you don't understand what this really is, we hope by the end of the night that you do. We've never had a service or an event where we have not told people that they are special, that they are fearfully and wonderfully made, and that God loves them no matter what. And everybody said... So if you're watching by television right now, we know many are. If you're watching, whether it's America or somewhere else, man, and you just believe with all your heart that God's not even real, would you hang on for a second? Or if you believe He don't love you, would you chill for a second? If you're stressed out, this is the right channel. If you're going through something, this is the right place, because I promise you right here in Birmingham, Alabama, all these people would back me up when I say we're not perfect, we are just... No, you didn't hear them. I apologize. We're not perfect, we are just... That's what we are here. And so tonight, I thought it would be just kind of right if we don't, no matter where I go, they even do movies on this. I love to show off. I mean, one thing people always ask about in Alabama, they say, man, is the South, the Southern Belle, like, is the ladies really like, as beautiful as they say they are? And I say, well, it might not be all, but the women of God sure are. I call them pretty girls. Would you stand up with you? We're the pretty girls in this city. Go and show off, girl. Ain't nothing more beautiful than a young lady or a woman, ages 1 to 102, that knows who they are. How many know when you were brought into this earth, you're an image. You are not a copy. You don't have to leave one. You don't have to look like Maybelline. You don't have to look like no billboard. You don't have to look like nobody, because you are fine enough just being you. Bird, they say it's like they fancy. You understand me? It's like you're fancy.
Oh, you fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy,
that got him right there.
Oh, you fancy, huh?
Come on.
Nail done, hair done, everything did. Nails done.
Hey, fellas, the girls might be pretty in this city, but we built this city.
We built this city.
You understand me? Fellas, stand up in this place. No, ladies, you stay up with us. Now, that song says we built it on rock and roll. And, Dad, I apologize. It ain't nothing against rock and roll. But I would say that we, my generation, and here on, are going to build this city on love. So when I say we built this city, you say what? We built this city on what? On what? That's the only way you can. Man, in our world right now, it's crazy. There's a lot of things going on. Statistics are at an all-time high. Even throughout Thanksgiving and Christmas, we are seeing the worst times of stress and anxiety, and just like people are going through some stuff. So here's the deal. That ain't a bad thing for me and you, because if you're what we call a believer, if you believe in God, how many of you know that God believes in you? Come on. And I try to tell people all the time, man, like, it's not easy trying to stand up. Like, everybody that came tonight, this is crazy, but here's the deal. There's a lot of people that go throughout life, they cannot find happiness. Like maybe your mom or dad or a friend, or at your school, maybe it's just crazy. And I don't know if people have found out some secrets to. My mom believes that she only really read one book. And me being a learning disability student, I don't have no right to be on this stage speaking in front of all you people. But I can tell you, I understood this one book she would always read, and it's called the Bible. And the Bible for me, man, it would come alive, all these stories. It was crazy. Dude departing Red Seas, a guy walking on water. I mean, it was just awesome. She would tell it, and I was like, wow. And it was a coloring, it was a pictorial. It had pictures to it, you know. I couldn't read that great, but there's something to it. My mom always said that God don't just want you to show up. She said, you know, the dude's like religion. He wants a relationship. And I'd be like, what is how do you have a relationship with some dude way up in the stars, man? How do you talk to some guy that's just where is he? And she would pray as if he was listening. She would worship like I saw so many nights, like she would work, and I was like, who you singing to? You know, I didn't understand. And that song says, you know, wait till the water runs dry. And I remember I was in a village, and it's Thanksgiving. I think it's fitting right now. And I saw one time as we were in there, we were able to feed, and I walked in, and every little hut without a roof as it would rain. Right now it's raining. We're like, ooh, it's cold outside. Some people, you know, can't get out. It's slippery. But what if you didn't have a roof? Like, what if it rained and it was cold as it is, and it was going to snow in your house tonight? Like some of the places I've been where it's just open up. And then boom, it comes, and they put these like beds and things. They hang them because the kids could drown. And one guy I was talking to, man, it didn't wreck my world. It just made me thankful. I don't understand. It's like, for me, I'm one of the, I can go throughout life and be so negative, so ungrateful. I can miss it, man. And God does something to people. He takes a hold of your heart, and he makes you thankful and grateful and excited. But still, even though like my mom says, I've asked God in my life, don't mean that every day I'm happy or I'm excited and all this. Like, I have to put in effort. It's like winning a football game. You got to work hard. You got to try. Then you see a champion. You get excited when things happen. But I was in this village, and this one man was asking me to pray for his daughter. And she has to have insulin, and he has to go get ice 2 miles, puts it in a cooler to keep her alive. And I didn't want to pray. I was kind of nervous. I was like, man, I didn't know y'all had it like that. I was like, you know, they had no power, no restrooms, no nothing. I saw the little girl out back at this little ravine where the water comes through, where they would actually, honestly, you're old enough to use the restroom, and she was just dipping her hand in. She was drinking water because that's their only source of keeping themselves nourished with water, and food was whatever we could give them. And I didn't understand. This little beautiful princess was outside the gate, man. She was a little bitty princess, and she was looking in. I mean, hungry, you could tell. She looked like their city wasn't built on love. She needed water. She was just sitting there. She was just hanging on. I was like, well, what's wrong with her? Why doesn't she come in and get something to eat and drink, you know, like everybody else? They said, well, she can't. She don't have nobody taking care of her. I said, no, you know, and I said, well, get her in here, and then her family, and the village after village, and no matter where I've went, Egypt, I've seen the poor, you name it, man, different places. I just think sometimes they are more happy than I am. Sometimes more happy than people I know. They were smiling, you know why? Because they had built their city on love. And no matter what they didn't have even have no iPhone, man. They didn't have anything. It was like nothing, but yet they would smile, and they were hugging, and they were loving each other. The village was helping each other. I felt so dumb that I didn't even want to go in like I normally did. And by the end of this one particular trip, I needed them to pray for me because I knew God, but it's like I didn't know Him. It's like I forgot to come and just love Him and be thankful for Him. If you can breathe right now, you have a gift. There's a man who wanted some shoes real bad until he ran into a man that didn't have no legs. And he didn't want them shoes too bad. Some of us, it's hard to lift your hands, but if you didn't have none, like a friend of mine, you'd want to lift whatever you could up right now. My mom used to say all the time, because would come Christmas time, I hated this time of the year because my friends could go get whatever they wanted. My mom, we'd always have to be at layaway, and she'd let us pick out one or two things. And I'd think, well, you know, are we going to get it? I always knew she'd be like, no, we're going to wait and see what happens with Dad this year. And she'd put it in layaway, and I'd be like, man, all my friends at school, you know, they get new stuff, Mom. Like, layaway every time, you know. It just get old. And my mom would say, baby, you don't understand. She walked me outside and she said, you don't understand. We're the richest people in the world. And she would tell me about God and his love. And she'd say, when you know God, you don't need anything. Because you know what's important, she would say, is God and family. And so my mom would always explain God like this. She would say, Matt, you can do all the right things. You can play all the right games. But you got to know him. Like if you had a best friend, how could you say you're my best friend if you don't talk to him every day? It's not that you got to talk to him all day. It's not that you got to ring him up 9, 10 different times, but your best friend, you say it's my best friend, like Bird's one of my best friends because, man, we check on each other all day. Sometimes we argue. Sometimes we get into it. I asked Mom one time, I said, when I pray, can I tell God what I really think? She said, you can tell him anything. He knows your heart. And I tell God, I'll go out at nighttime, but God, I can't. I'm so mad, and I just rip into it. You wouldn't even think it's a prayer. But I think he looks down and goes, that's my little best friend right there. That's my little buddy. Because I pursue him like a buddy now. I know what she's talking about. He's a friend, and he's the only friend that don't judge you like that. He don't come down. He don't stab you in the back. He don't do none of that. He just loves you. Or how many of y'all ever liked somebody before? How many of y'all ever played circle, circle, dot, dot, there goes my cootie shot? Or MASH? Boy, you love a girl, you'll do anything, man. You'll do anything in the world. You'll sit on the phone all night. How you doing? And she'll be like, nah, how you doing? You'll be like, well, how you doing? And you just do this. And now the text thing, man, you'll just be like, what's up? Nothing. What's up with you? Nothing. What's up with you? Laugh out loud. What's up with you? Laugh out loud. Laugh out loud. But they pursue each other all night on that text message or on that phone, and it's crazy. It's like I know them and I want them, and they go crazy for them. And I think if you ever try to do that, maybe you're doing it, I would be willing to say, I'm glad, this is the first time we've done the basement, really outside of a church setting, so I can really be open. Sometimes I'm so real on the stage that I lose a lot of people for what I say, but here's the deal. I would be willing to say, I don't pursue God like when I first met him like I did then. And when I first met him, it was the greatest time ever. And I'm in front of you willing to say, I think right now I just want to go back to wanting to talk to him. They call it prayer, but more than I ever have, or worship more than I ever have. They call it worship, but really it's better than I shoot you in your ear, I stab you in the throat, I cut you. Like that'll make you want to kill somebody when you're driving down the road. You understand what I'm saying? I just ain't never heard nobody committing suicide worshiping. I've never heard of it my whole life. Here I am to worship. I ain't heard nobody going, I hate myself. But because when you do it, something happens and you begin to connect. It's like the movie Avatar with your life source, and it's like water almost, man. It just fills you up and you get excited. That's like my brothers that came all the way from New York. They wouldn't be here unless they were really excited and they knew him. And so for us, you're a part of something tonight. I told my buddies that we started this. I said, man, we're going to go into a basketball arena downtown by word of mouth. All you here tonight were invited by somebody. Yeah, word of mouth still works. Says if you lift him up, he'll draw people to him. We thought it would take, honestly, a lot of months to see a lot of you like this tonight. And in the original basement, we were so excited. That was our story. We were so excited. It just began to grow or do something. And then it went to this next place. And we moved to this church. And, man, we're ordinary guys with no degree, no reason we should be. But with the excitement that we knew God, we wanted everybody to know. He still uses drug dealers. He still uses people that have real issues, man. He'd use a prisoner right now if he was set free and he loved him. He'd take anybody, anywhere, anytime. All he wants is a little bit of your availability. Because he wants to build this city on what? And as I think about it, like here we are tonight, and I think like what's going to come out of this room? What's in here tonight? Because I've sat in the chair, maybe some of you have, and God was beginning to do something in my heart or my life, and it can take a while, but I sat there and I knew inside, whatever God puts inside of you, it says he's faithful to complete it. And actually the Bible says, Mama used to say that God takes a lot of time making you, and it says you're a masterpiece, man. He says you're a masterpiece. And tonight as we explain this, I want to tell you something. as she explained that to my sister didn't believe it like that. She would always say, you're a treasure. God thinks you're a treasure. Like you're a diamond. My dad would always say, you're a diamond in the rough. He'd look at my sister and say, you're a diamond. He'd look at me and say, you're in the rough. I didn't understand what that meant, but that means like, you know, a diamond, a beautiful one, like some of the ladies right here at Christmas time, boy, they want a diamond, a beautiful diamond, a sparkling diamond. It's got to be cut. It's got to be hurt. They say, a scientist says it's got to actually be under extreme pressure and heat. And after it has went through all this testing, it shines brilliantly. It's beautiful. I think there's a lot of diamonds in here tonight. I think inside of you there's a lot of diamonds. I think that you probably went through things and will go through things that are tough and hot and rough and hurt and cut, but make you shine brilliantly for God. And for my family, that wasn't the case because my dad had an alcohol problem every single day. And my mom would always say there's treasure inside of him. One day he'll witness for God. I watched my dad every day as a trickle. I watched him every day. And as he witnessed, I wanted what he had. Passion. Like the if I know him, my dad began to know him, and it was contagious. It infected me. Man, it was right around Christmas. Here we are, 8 years ago, when they said, it's time for you to go, man. There's no way in this arena you could be looking at a boy that was going to be homeless and one day lost, lie, thief, cheat, you name it. My parents were putting me out in a bridge in 8 years. Unless God's real. I can't argue because I'm not a great debater. I'm not a perfect. I can't. I know what he's done in my life. I know that he's real because he built this little city in here on loving him. He allowed me to take that little girl who was hurt younger in her life, my blonde-headed sister, and she saw that I knew him and she wanted to know him, and she put down drugs and she knew him. And my sister that turned, Mom always said God didn't die for religion, he died for a relationship. And she quit playing games and she worshiped. She's the first one to take us into a youth group, and we worship with her. We just copied what she did. Sometimes you have to just watch others until you experience yourself. And you know why we're here tonight? Here's why. We did a service downtown at the Boutwell. We were going back there. That might be home. I don't know. But there's a young man. There's a student here, 19 years old. And I was watching him play basketball right here on this floor, right here. I was sitting right up there where many of you are sitting up there. I was actually at the nosebleeds. I didn't know if I could come in. And he was playing basketball. And I knew he wasn't happy. He was wanting God. But he wasn't helping anybody. He was following the crowd. I saw him leave one day frustrated. And I called him right outside. And I was like, what's up, man? And I was talking to him. Matter of fact, tonight I would say you're sitting in a story, in a destiny maybe. Who knows? And as I was looking out there, this was almost 7 years ago. And he said, I don't know. I know there's something more. I want to help people. I want to reach them. And I looked at him right in his eyes, right outside this gym. And I said, one day, man, you can walk out of this gym right now, but one day you might go back in there with thousands of people there, and you might tell them how real God is. I literally said them to him that day, and I said, one day you'll be in arenas all over, and he is. And I never thought it would really come true. And that kid, there's no reason God could use him. But as I end, I want to look at a hope story.
And I can't explain to you what happened that night, but all I know is this. I hit my knees, and I said, God, if you're real, if you're alive, if you can save me, clean me up, change me, fix me, I'll serve you to the day I die. Basement, can I tell you what? Not only did he save me, but he cleaned me up, delivered me from a drug addiction, and one night, I ain't never been the same since. Amen. God is good, right? Well, real quick, I can remember a time in my life where everything seemed like it wasn't going to work out. I had no purpose. Tonight, I'm just here to tell you this. No matter what you walked in with, what you've done, what you've been through, or even what your life looks like tonight, God's got such a plan for you. He has such a purpose for you. I believe The greatest tragedy on earth is somebody that walks around with no purpose. That's the greatest tragedy. That's why we see statistics the way we see them today. That's why every 17 minutes someone commits suicide, because they don't know their purpose. 24 million people will become drug addicts this year alone. Why? Because they didn't know they had a purpose. Tonight, you got a purpose, man. No matter what you've done, no matter what you've been through, no matter how bad it is, God don't look at you and see the mess and see the mistakes. No, he looks at you and he sees the best in you. That he's proud of you. He sees destiny. He sees the best. He wants the best for you. John 4:34, those who do the will of the Father will truly be satisfied. But here's what I got to say. Give your life to some, to be a part of some. You want to be satisfied in life? Answer the call of God on your life. Like tonight, I want to end with this. You know, I keep this letter by my bed, and you know, something, it just gives me hope. I've been reading it the last couple of weeks. Somebody just sent this in, and I don't know about you when you lay your head down at night, how you feel or what you say to God. You know, maybe everything's not the way it should be. Sometimes I lay down at night and I think, God, are you even proud of me? Like sometimes I feel like I make so many mistakes. I'm like, are you even proud of me? Could you still use me? And I read this letter, you know. It gives me hope that even though I might not have everything figured out in life, I might not be perfect, I'm a part of something that's changing lives. This letter, man, there's this guy. I can't say his name, but he's in jail right now, serving a life sentence, 25 to life. He's already served 16 years. Convicted murderer, gangbanger, drug dealer, he's done it all. He was a radical Muslim. He didn't want to have nothing to do with God, hated God. Convicted murderer, has no hope. One night, somebody pops in a basement DVD in his jail cell, tells him to watch it. This is what you're a part of, man. This is what you help do. By you being a partner, by you buying a t-shirt, this is what you get to help do. Pops in a basement DVD. Watches it, man. He said he cried through the whole thing. Didn't know what was going on. So he popped in every other one we had, the whole 6-disc set. He said that God did something so radical in his life in that jail cell that for the next week, all he did was went out and told every single jail prisoner there was how real Jesus was. He said he's led like so many of these people to the Lord, just one guy off one DVD, off what you do for this ministry, by you being a part. Tonight, I just challenge you, whatever it is, man, be a part of something that's changing lives. You're talking about giving hope to the hopeless? Convicted murderer has no hope. Now look, you give hope to the hopeless. Pray about it, man. But tonight, answer the call. Life will never make sense until you find God's purpose for your life. Step up. When I decided to step up now, to answer the call now, my life's never been the same. Tonight, I don't know who needs you in your world, who's around you every day, what prisoners are around you every day in life, in school, at work, but you can change the world. You can change your little world that you're around every day. You can step up. You can make a difference. You can answer the call.
We've always told God, just one more. Tonight, we're going to build this city on. At your chair, I'm going to say this prayer one more time. People are watching you. You might need to be, as every eye's closed, we're in a new house tonight. These people up on this stage were bold enough to say, man, one of the cheerleaders was the captain of one of the greatest SEC football teams there are. She had to walk because she had a car. Some of these young men have put down everything. The greatest testimony in the world is not to have one, but you can't play the game. When I say this prayer, if tonight was for you, would you just slip up your hand? It's just me and you. We're not going to make you fill out anything. We're just, right now, heaven. I'm going to say this prayer, and if it's for you, just slip your hand up. Say it with me. Say, God, I ask you to come in to my life, Father. I ask you to forgive me, oh Lord. I need a brand new start. I need you to forgive me. I want to be more grateful. I want to be more thankful. I didn't know I was a diamond. I didn't know I was special. I didn't realize the treasure inside of me you're just working on. And I was made to make a difference. If that was you, would you lift up your hand right now? Right now, right now, right now. Wow, come on, come on. Yes, yeah. Yeah. Lift it up. Nobody's looking at me and you. That's why we do it. That's why we do it, man. That's why we do it. Wow. Come on. You can put them down. Thank you. Thank you. Tonight, if you're a leader and you brought somebody, there were a lot of hands that went up. We always say we would stop the basement if people didn't do that right there. You've never truly been living until you've done that. We're going to sing an old song right here, right now, and this is where worship. This is where we're done. We got one worship song left, and we're going to play a video, and after we hang out in the lobby, there's going to be an after party right after this. People can hang out. I just saw a lot of hands go up, so somebody must have invited somebody. A lot of new faces. Lights low. You can come to this altar if you want to. Come on. There was a lot of hands. See that, Canton? Look at this. I wonder if you told one person. You can look at the very top up there, and there's people all the way to the very top of the wall. Somebody must have told somebody, and that somebody told them. Look, people coming to this altar. If you're watching by television, you're in Birmingham, Alabama. A generation coming back to God. 94% are leaving. Won't happen in my lifetime. They say every 40 years there will be a man or a group of people who will stand and reach an entire generation. Well, you're watching one group right now. Look at, come to the altar. I travel America, and it's very rare to watch high school, college, kids, and all ages lead a revival. You know what revival is? When you know Him. When you know Him, you get excited. And I don't even have to ask you to lift up your hand. When you cheer for football, do more. Here we go.